confirm that it's not my network.
Network is fine. Don't worry about it. Your network is great.
Okay.
Okay, so we are quite live now.
Hello everyone. Welcome to this technical session brought to you by Amoye. Amoye is an edtech startup with a mission to prepare young professionals and college students for their choice careers in data and the future work. We do that via our internship programs, which simulate the conditions you will face while working in a real-life environment. Our internships will expose you to specially designed courses, career coaching webinars with industry experts and industry-relevant project presentations, like what we're having right now. My name is Daniel Owolabi, and I am a junior data scientist at Amoye AI Labs. I'm joining you from Oyo State, Nigeria, and I'll be your host for today's session. I'd like to welcome to this event everyone present, our incredible interns in the current cohort. Kudos to you for making it this far. Thanks to the Amoye Fellows and the Amoye team who have made this session possible also. Thank you very much. For this session, we have an industry expert, Mr. Ayodeji Babalola. Ayodeji was a student of the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Nigeria, where he earned a Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical and Electronics Engineering. He then went on to acquire research and development skills at Università di Pavia, Italy, where he backed a MSc in Electronics Engineering, focusing on photonics. Being particular about the benefits of well-owned skills, he underwent several internships, one of which was his position as an analog application engineer at eSilicon, Italy, and he took up his first professional job as a laser sensor production engineer in Julight SRL, Italy, before moving to Italy to take up a more high-tech role as a systems engineer at SI Time, Netherlands. As he progressed through his career years, he has picked up more skills in research and development, software testing, and test automation using machine learning algorithms, verification and validation of ICs, integrated circuits, especially in HSSLs and timing integrated circuits, systems engineering, and product development. He currently works as an audio and test automation engineer at Lapsi Health in Netherlands. He will be sharing with us how to compute global and land surface temperature from satellite images, a case study of Landsat 8 over Lagos, Nigeria. Before I hand over to you, Mr. Ayodiji, please carefully take note of the following. You interns, feel free to post your questions and comments on slido.com using the event code 2781429. I repeat, 2781429, and they will be promptly attended to. Your questions will be promptly attended to when you post them on Slido. As you know, Mr. Ayodiji will be taking us through two sessions. First, the technical session, and then the Q&A session. Also, you should know that a Google form has been opened to collate attendance for the winter 23 cohorts. The interns in this cohort, we are going to gather your attendance. So when the time is right, you will use the secret code PyScript, all lowercase, PyScript, PYSCRIPT. I reckon the form will be shared with you guys now. The form will be open for only 10 minutes, starting now. We have pinned the first attendance form link on YouTube and Zoom. We want you to fill your form quickly in order to focus on the presentation. I hope all the information I have passed on or paid attention to. So now I'm going to hand over to Mr. Ayodiji. Over to you, Ayodiji.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. And thank you, everyone. I just give God the glory. When he was reading my profile, I was just laughing out here, and it's interesting where God has brought us from and where he's taking us. So I just want to humbly say thank you to the Amoye platform, Messi and co. I've been speaking a lot with Messi via mail, and the visionaries of this project, of this vision. Yeah, welcome everyone. And I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. I like some feedbacks, please.
We can hear you, sir, and we can see you.
Nice. All right. So I'm just gonna try and share my screen now and present. Right. Okay. All right. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, you can. We can.
All right. Can you still see the slides now? Because I've made it a slideshow.
Yes, it's visible.
All right, great. So as Daniel rightly said, we're just going to be talking about how to compute land temperature from satellite images, basically. And I prepared a bit of a slide. And of course, he did the introduction, so I don't need to go back and do that as well. But I would like to take note of those three other points in the agenda. And Mr. Daniel, please, what is the first section timeline, please? I would like to follow the time, please. So the first section before the Q&A is how many minutes, please?
Okay, let me find that out. I'll get back to you like in a few. Just
all right.
I'm going to ask my colleague.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you can know how to move very fast. All right. So I have three items I want to discuss and show you technically and in career, because I know we're all here because of our career motivations and inspirations and aspirations in that sense. So I'd like to speak about the PylonTab, data science, and my motivations for doing this, because I believe once you have your why of doing something, then you're actually motivated to do it. Then, of course, I want to preach Amoye to the world and what we should do next from here for those that are in these technical sessions. And then question and answer, the open discussions will be like question and answer that we can practically discuss to help you go from where you are now or where you've grown to be in the last 4 months that you've been part of Amoye to where you need to be in the next 6 months to 1 year, by God's grace. All right. Okay. So, yeah. So I'm just going to move to this straight away, PylonTab. This is a link. Mr. Daniel, I'll be asking a lot of questions back and forth, so I need you to be with me. I would love if I can share my slides with them, or maybe I can, I think they would really love to have my slides. I would like to share my slides with them later on.
Of course, I think once you share it with us, there's a platform to do that on,
nice.
Is it like right now or like
No,
later on?
Maybe not now. Maybe I could just start from sharing this link on the chat box. Because the discussions about PylonTab starts from there.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, they can get the slides later on.
Yes, you can get the slides later. I'll just put this in the chat box for everyone.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, and this first session is around 30 to 40 minutes, so that the Q&A can be 15 minutes or thereabout.
30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah, all right, yes.
All right, so I'll just 30 to 45 minutes. All right, so by 16:40 to 45, we should have the questions. Perfect.
Yes.
All right, so I've sent the link of this first slide. I've sent it to the chat, and people can click on the link and just, you could like, you could comment, but majorly, more importantly, is to read that later on, maybe after the session, what was the motivation for me taking this project? Why am I so pro data science now than previously? If you had my introduction and the things I've done in the past, I've been a laser instrumentation engineer. I am still, because that's what I did in my master's. And right now I'm a sound engineer. So why am I pro tech, pro Python, pro lasers, pro data science? Yeah, so you could just read a little bit about that. But as this is a technical session, I'm going to be moving very fast. So the reason why this is geodata science and Landsat 9 is because this script we have, as some of us might know, we have a lot of, I should close this, guys. We have a lot of satellites in space, and many of these satellites, what they do is they capture lots of images over time. If you have an iPhone with you right there, there's a feature on the iPhone that is timestamp. If you go to video, there's a timestamp feature, right? Where you could just put your camera on and take a screen, and record what is going on in your environment in real time, but it records in timestamps, so such that you could record a long period or a long section of video and have that compressed over time. So what these satellites do is they capture lots of images every second for a period of time. So Landsat 9, what is Landsat 9? So it's 9 because this is the night one. Actually, I would say Landsat 8. Landsat 8 was the previous version of Landsat 9. It's a land satellite. It takes satellite images. It takes images of the Earth from space. So if you check the link I sent you, you have a bit of introduction to what Landsat 9 is, to why it's called geodata science, and what are the reasons why we have those satellites in space. We have those satellites in space because we want to be able to monitor what is happening on the Earth. For example, climate change. We want to know, okay, what is the trend? We want to be able to observe trends. So as you might have learned in some of the technical sessions you've had in the past, or during the month-long sessions you've had with Hamoye, data science is the first word in data science. Data science is a combination of two words, right? Data and science. So the data part of data science is just getting data. So Landsat is a satellite in space. It gets image data that are images. But of course, there'll be an array of numbers. It saves these images as an array of numbers, as I will show you briefly. And one of the important motivations for me is, as we know, the world is graduating towards AI and machine learning. some people are afraid. Some people are afraid that the robots will kill us all. Some people like Elon Musk are not so afraid. They're saying, oh, we can work together with robots, with AI, and make the world a better place. And that will actually lead to the creation of more jobs. Some other people are saying, oh, if robots come on, they will take all the jobs. Some people are like, no. Actually, once we have more robots, we have more opportunities for more jobs to be done, because there will be a creation space for newer jobs to be created that will require newer skills. Just like when we had the internet created billions of jobs. Of course, some people lost their jobs, but if you calculate, or if you check the data of jobs that were created after we got the internet versus the jobs that were lost, you realize that it's a no-brainer. The internet was an advantage. And people like Elon Musk, respected leaders also, that I think I'm hoping to grow to become in the next few years, they believe that AI can actually be leveraged to create more jobs, to help the universe, to help reduce climate change, to help reduce, carbon fossil fuel emission into space. All right, this is a technical session. Let's get technical. But this is a lesson I think I would like to share as I share the technical session. First, if you try to understand the data science concept and you can't fully grasp it, it might be that your mind is wandering and not fully focused on the idea at that time. So what you should do is simply pause and leave that idea, leave that problem set, go and do something else. Go and play PlayStation 4, talk to a friend, watch a movie, sleep. And once your mind is ready to accept the new idea, be it coding or data science or any new concept, you will always find out that it's always easier than imagined. All right, let's get on. PylonTab. So what is PylonTab? This is PylonTab. I'm sure most of us, we are aware what GitHub is. Of course, you can ask questions during the Q&A. Even though I would have loved this to be a back and forth session. But if you don't know what GitHub is, it's a website, a platform for collaborating with different developers, software developers, coders in that sense. So you could create a library, you could create a code and put it out there. It's called open source. Then people can work on it, collaborate with you to make it better. And this is the idea of collaboration that gave birth to big industries in the world. So we're applying it to tech. Industries created by, for example, Thomas Edison. He created a hub where engineers can come together and just collaborate to bring forth a bulb, a typewriter, an electronic machine, and just things like that. So the same way we can collaborate on GitHub. So this project, PylonTab, was created by a friend, and he asked me to work on it. And so what does PylonTab do? Is a Python package or a Python library for retrieving land surface temperature from Landsat 8 satellite imagery using the mono window and split window techniques. I sent a couple of papers before today. I hope we went through it, but I'll try to refresh. So once we get the data image, the image from Landsat 8, what are we using PylonTab? What do we want to use Python to do? So if you know someone that works in NASA Space Station, for example, they have very sophisticated tools to just get the data from the satellites. But an idea came to a friend of mine, and is currently doing his postdoc at Harvard right now in the US, Boston. And he felt like, oh, why can't we use Python to do the same thing? To just, instead of spending so much money, why can't we use a software approach, get the data from the satellite and just replicate that image using Python? And that was interesting. So he called another friend of ours and they began to work on it. Then he called on me also, and I joined to work on it. So basically, oh boy, I will be asking questions, but I think I will not be getting answers. I hope we know what Jupyter is. I think I've seen it in previous cohorts. The use of Jupyter Notebook, but I'm still going to explain. So Jupyter Notebook, it's not like the GitHub that I open here. So Jupyter Notebook, it's a notebook where you can code per sections, with different sections, and then You could run the section, check the result. I'm sure some of us knows what Jupyter Notebook is. So you code and you check the result of what you code. And if there's an error, you can quickly say, oh, there's an error. Let me correct the error. If there's no error, you move forward. So I can say very, very honestly, like Google, the Google platform and all these websites and every solution in the world were created on a step-by-step basis. So there's no one man that just writes the code from top to bottom. In the previous years, it used to be like that. You know, someone wakes up and write the algorithm for YouTube, for example, and he does it overnight or 3 nights at a stretch. These days, scientists, developers, software developers collaborate. So one person might do the front end, you know, put out the front end developers, you know, back end, but beyond that, for projects, you know, many engineers come together and one person writes a part of the solution, another person works on another part of the solution. And that's how people make advanced progress. All right, so this is the code which I would, of course, it's open source. You can have access to it. I would like to share with the guys and they can send it to you. You can go through them as well. But I'm just going to explain what I did. All right, so first, I used the NumPy library, as you can see here. Maybe I should rewind a little bit. But I am assuming that we know how to launch Jupyter Notebook. But you can easily launch it if you have a Mac like I have right now, or a Windows. I could maybe make that another question and answer session if you want to ask, but I will assume that you know how to use Notebook. So here I import the library NumPy, and I imported also the matplotlib library for plotting. All right. I think I'm skipping something. Okay, so the PylonTab, like I explained, is a Python tool for retrieving land surface temperature from Landsat 8. Now we have Landsat 9. Can you apply this code and this algorithm to Landsat 9? Yes. Can you apply it to Landsat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Because Landsat 9 satellite, it's a satellite in space. Yeah, Landsat 9 is a satellite in space. It's the 9th version of the satellite. So there were previous edition of the satellite. You can see here, the description says Landsat 8. That was when he started the journey, the project. But you can also apply it to different versions of Landsat satellites that we have in the world today. Maybe by the time we have Landsat 10, you can use the same code for it. Just going to change very simple things. All right, and just a bit, okay. All right, I'm going to go to the master branch. So I'm on GitHub again now. I just want to quickly explain. Let's go here. Yeah. So I can share this also with us. Please feel free to increase the forking of this, the FORK. Forking is you star or you add more visibility to this project or to this package. The more it's like adding a star to the project. The more you do this, the more visibility it gets. I won't say, you know, this project is the best project for retrieving Landsat images from space yet. It is trying to do a lot of that right now. It can't do that right now, but I think we could get more people to work on it. You guys can work on it and contribute to it. It will be really good so that we can make it the best in the world. Because the goal of every project that I contribute to is we want to make it the best in the world, you know. So I've put that in the chat as well. So, all right. So, the Python library is divided into multiple methods, provides access to different sets of algorithms. So in order to do this, we have to read a couple of papers. I sent that previously. Some of these papers are the papers that is used to compute land surface temperature using a particular algorithm. So every algorithm that is used to code, most of them, if not all, I'll say all of them comes from mathematics. So mathematicians, which are the bedrock of physics, of engineering, mathematicians and physicists are the bedrock of engineering. So they sit down, they think about this problem, they formulate ideas and protocols to solve the problem. Then engineers take their ideas and then we try to implement them in the physical world, and that's why we're called engineers. So we use the algorithm developed by this guy called Jimenez Munoz. He wrote this algorithm in 2014. Also, this is a guy called Ugo Alfdan in 2014. They both wrote split window technique algorithm and emissivity computation method to retrieve land surface temperature from satellites in space. And we just took the algorithm, implemented it in Python, and you have PylonTab. All right, practically imports not NumPy as NP, just importing this. And there's a platform called Raster. This Raster, you could Google it or read about it. It helps you to present data from raster. That's a simple way I could say it. It helps you to plot data in a, that is in a form of raster. And then, so you import these packages. The NumPy helps you to work with arrays. It helps to work with arrays. I'm sure you've been exposed to that previously. Matplotlib is just for plotting. And then we look for the URL. I'm in the next session. So each of these satellite images are also open source in that sense. In what sense? You can access some of these Landsat images. You have access to them. I would, for example, if you check the link I sent recently where I made a post, a comment, because I was really excited about this on LinkedIn, then check some of the links. You see the Landsat. This is the real Landsat, NASA's website, where you can find every information about Landsat. You could get the images. If you go to galleries, for example, you could see, different kind of galleries that you can find from images that were gotten from space. These are really cool stuff. And one thing I say is you need to enjoy what you're doing. So that will give you motivation to do it more. You can see where to get data here from the Landsat image. So I could get data, you could put a location and you find any data. So whether we're using data for Lagos, Nigeria, whether you want data for images from Antarctica, from California, you can get it from NASA. And why do they make it open source? They make it open source because they want people to be able to contribute to what they are doing. Even though, NASA, everybody knows NASA is one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world with respect to space. So we put the URL of where we get the Landsat image here, as you can see here. And then for people to study geology, you know that we have different bands, even engineering, you have different bands of temperature. And we have the red band, we have the near infrared bands, we have different temperature bands. And then depending on the bands that you have from the data you download, because this data are categorized in different bands, then you could split it. So we just use this format method to take the specific bands that we want to plot, that we want to retrieve from the satellite image. So we take this the red band from this URL. I will share this. The code is very simple. From this URL, we retrieved the red band, the near infrared band, and then the algorithm requires us to convert this band into a band 10 and a band 11. And then we retrieve that also from the satellite image, as you can see here. So I'm going to run this guy. I was running it before this meeting, so it's going to be very fast now. And I'm going to run this also. And I declare those as variables to study data. So henceforth, my URL is this guy. And yeah. Now, Raster library that I mentioned previously, I will use it to open this data. So I'm saving this data and I'm converting them using this Raster library into a character or an array or a matrix that I can use later on to plot the image that I want to see. So the goal is to retrieve the data from the satellite and use Python to plot the exact data that they are seeing in the NASA space station. I want to see the same image they see, but I want to use Python. I don't want to use whatever engineering tool they are using. I just want to use Python. So I use the Raster library here. If I run this, if it's running, you see it's in asterisk here. So it's still running. It's going to take a while. Let's wait. All right. That's still running. Okay. All right. It's still running. How you know it's still running is you see this is an asterisk. So you just gotta wait because I'm loading a lot of, yeah, now it's done. Now it's done. All right, so I've saved using Raster library, the geospatial raster data. People that are into geodata science, they know about this library. You can read more on it as well. So I've saved those data as a raster type, and I saved them as red image, near infrared, the band 10 image, the temperature image, the temperature images in band 10 and band 11. Now here, one of my work with them is to compare the different LST methods. LST stands for land surface temperature. So it's a different domain. It's a huge domain on itself. So different people are comparing the different algorithms for retrieving land surface temperature from satellite data. And they are saying, oh, is my algorithm better? Is yours better than mine? Can we make it better? Can you use the knowledge I have with my algorithm to improve your algorithm? So many conversations. So I'm taking all of their, well, not all of them. I'm taking, I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here I'm taking 5 different algorithms and I'm comparing them to see what image they produce, if it's closer to the satellite data or not. Am I satisfied also with the results or not? And then from that, I can report to NASA, for example, that, oh, I have an algorithm that does this. So instead of you spending $1 million on this equipment, you could sponsor my project or sponsor me, and I will help you out to get this done in a few minutes, as you will see. So the first one uses this split window. Split window is a method that we wrote that takes a temperature in band 10. It takes, maybe I should make this bold. I hope you can see my screen still. I hope it's not too small. Daniel?
No, it's kind of clear here.
Okay, so I'm trying to make it as big as possible. So the split window method, you could see it from the last link I sent also, takes an array, because every of these images they will come as numbers. You know, data is numbers at the end of the day, even if it comes as a photo or as a video. So it takes the array of numbers, which is from the band 10, this one. It takes the array of numbers from the band 11, then it takes the red band image, takes the near infrared image, and this is the method itself. Here, LST method, Jimenez Munoz. So this is the algorithm. This guy wrote the paper I shared with us previously and showed how to compute land surface temperature images from data from satellites. So we rewrote his algorithm in a Python format, and you could see that if you check the open source GitHub page, if we go here, for example, and you go to PylonTab, and you could see this is split window. So split window is a method that we wrote in that PylonTab package that follows exactly what these guys have done. So I'm talking about Jimenez Munoz, Kerr, McLean, Price, and Sobrino. So we used the algorithms they wrote in their papers. We rewrote those algorithms in a Python form. Just Python is just a language. We interpreted what they wrote in mathematics in Python. So, but here I could just demonstrate quickly. So using that split window method and putting the respective arguments, I could save that as LST image split window from Jimenez Alfdan. So what I do next is just copy and paste. Once you have the idea, most of the things you do in coding is actually just copy and paste. So I repeat the same thing for Kerr. It's an algorithm. I repeat the same thing for Price, another algorithm, and a smart guy, Sobrino and Macmillan. So if I run this now, we'll get different set of images from those guys respectively. And yeah, we're talking about land surface temperature data from Lagos. It doesn't matter if a Nigerian writes an algorithm to retrieve land surface temperature from the satellite, we'll use the algorithm as well. So it's not a racist kind of algorithm. It's just what is available in the science domain right now. We only have algorithms from these people, basically, and they are fundamental guys that have written papers on this. All right, so I'm running this now. It should take a while as well. Please write down your questions. I hope I can answer them. If I can't, we'll use Google or ChatGPT. All right, it's still running. So the goal of this is to compare these different algorithms, as I said. It takes a while to run now. Yeah, it's done. So I can check the first one. This is what I do here in the next session on Jupyter. I just check this next one here. I want to check. Okay. So of course you see not a number, because if you cannot see the exact, it's a very big number. So Python with type float 32 cannot really interpret that correctly, but there's a number there. It's not zeros. You will see that it's not all zeros now. Oh, now. So now I want to plot it. And this is why, although I should not put this here because I've already imported matplotlib at the beginning and NumPy as well, but doesn't matter. It's not eating into my RAM. And now I'm going to plot it. I'm using subplots. PLT.subplot is a package I hope we all know. I think it's very simple. Everyone uses it to just plot the different algorithms and see how they behave. So I'm plotting the Jimenez-Moniz algorithm. I'm plotting chaos. I'm plotting all of them in a subplot. And I ran it earlier, so I can run it again. Run it again here. All right. It's running. Okay. Yeah. These are the images. These are the images. As you can see, these are just 5 images from 5 algorithms. And you can easily see here without even doing too much work that the algorithm from Sobrino, I need to adjust the axis, of course. The algorithm from Sobrino is showing a lot of blank spots. I would say the algorithm from Kerr, Price, and Macmillan, they are pretty similar. They are pretty similar. The one from Jimenez-Moniz, you could see a white dot. If I maybe expand this, and I don't know. Yeah, if you can see. So there's a white dot here. I need to understand. We need to understand why there's a white dot here. Is that actually what is visible on the Earth? If you compare this with the standard satellite images, yeah, that will be the next step. But easily you can see that Sobrino is not performing well here at all. You have a lot of white spots in an area that is full of vegetation. And the next step will be to perform the sensitivity analysis. How does LST values change with different emissivity methods? But I would love to stop here because of time. But this is just a level of results we've gotten so far by using these different algorithms to see if we can compute a Landsat image, not just over Nigeria, Lagos. We could compute it with any satellite image in the world, with any NASA satellite image in the world of any location in the world. So this works, and this is good. And my friend that started the project, I think he also got into Harvard because the people at Harvard were really impressed with the work we did with this. And yeah, so this is a good work, and it's still open to collaborations. And I would just like to stop here and take questions. Yeah. Oh, yes. Stop share. All right. Hello, Mr. Daniel, are we there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. Okay, so thank you very much for that session, DG. It was very insightful. Give me a second. So just before our speaker takes some of your questions, I want us to note that the second attendance form will be dropping now. and the secret code is Django, all in lowercase, DJANGO, Django. The form link is also going to drop now on whatever platform you're using, YouTube or Zoom. Remember that the form will close 10 minutes from now, so check YouTube and Zoom for the new form. And now to your questions. Remember to post your questions to slido.com using the event code I said earlier, and I'm going to repeat it again, 2781429, 2781429, and your questions will be promptly attended to. So please make sure you post your questions now. Okay, let me see the questions that we have currently. Can see one right now. How can we get the code and link to GitHub, please? I think this has been answered.
Okay.
Right. I can't see any other question right now. Coming. Let me see if there is any question on this chat.
Daniel. Daniel.
Yes, Messi. Yes.
I think that we should allow them to fill out their forms. They are quite busy trying to fill out the attendance form. Maybe that's why they've not been able to ask questions.
Okay, because I couldn't see any question on the, yeah, that makes sense. That's all right.
I see a question about, as a beginner in data science, do you think how can we contribute in this project? All right. Let's see. That's a good question. All right, you can contribute to this project and every other project online. All you need to do is just first, if you have a GitHub account, create a GitHub account and reach out to me. Yeah, you can reach out to me. I think you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and then we could work on, or you reach out to Hamoye. Yeah, I think Hamoye has some people that we're trying to work with now. So probably if you are interested, it would be good to reach out to Amoye as well as reach out to me. Then we could begin to work on it. We're looking for a lot of people to contribute to the project. And yeah, you can contribute by, first, I'll say read the paper. You know, Africa, we don't like to read too much, but trust me, you will not be able to contribute to anything if you don't read the paper. So you need to read the papers. I hope Amoye can share the paper with the guys if they don't already have it. So just 2 papers, it's not so long, it's probably 2-3 pages long each, so you can understand how or what is the foundation principle for computing land surface temperature from satellite images. And that's where you start contributing. Then once you read the paper, you can get back to us. We can begin communications back and forth on what you can do. You know, just, yeah, I will stop there. I have a question though. I don't know. So it seems a lot of the attendees are distracted, like Messi said. I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen and ask questions. So maybe this will get them engaged. Yeah. So the agenda was to discuss PylonTab, data science, and my motivation. So why am I doing this? I think it's very important for us to know why we're with Amoye, why we're doing what we're doing. And that is what will help us to actually be able to apply what we did or what we learned from Amoye in the future. You need to know what exactly you want to do. So I want to open discussions in this question and answer. Keep asking your questions, but I want to ask you a question too. What do you want to do with data science, or where do you see your career, you know, after this event, after this cohort space? I'm sure Amoye has invested a lot in you guys. And if you have specific question to your career, also to PylonTab, also to this project, I will take it. But if you have a question about your career or what you want to do or about data science that is specifically related to you, just feel free to ask and we'll try to answer as well. Thank you.
I think there's one question that I have now. It says, after you've gotten your LST, how can it be downloaded into a TIFF format? I don't think, did you get what I said? After you've gotten your LST, how can it be downloaded into a TIFF format?
What's a TIFF format? I know it's
TIFF format.
Okay. I could just okay. I know TIFF. That's like an image format, right?
I should think so. I'm not very
It's an
sure
image
either.
file. It's an image file format, right? It's for storing images. It depends. Why do you want to download it as a TIFF format? You know, why? But yes, you can download it. So when you call something a format, that means you have an original and then you're trying to format it. That's the word format, right? You're trying to make it into another copy of something else. Take, for example, like I'm currently also a sound engineer as well as a data scientist. You have music in different formats, MP3, you have MP3, but that's a common format, but you have WAV, where that's wave.wave is the format the sound comes from naturally, but you can convert it to MP3, you can convert it to MP4, and AIFF, I think that's Apple's codec, so it's another format. The same thing with images. So I don't know why the person that asked the question wants to convert it to a TIFF format, but yes, you can. All you need to do is look for the method in Python on the web, just a Python live, just Google TIFF method Python, as simple as that. And whatever you get from this LST that I just showed you, you can convert it to TIFF. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I think the other one is the Jupyter Notebook code. Please, how do we access it? I think that should be available on GitHub, right?
The one I shared with you is not available on GitHub. The recent works I've done on PylonTab is available on GitHub, but not this one. This is specifically for Hamoye people. But let me reshare this, guys. I sincerely need your help because we're also trying to get a message out to NASA. I would really love it. Maybe Daniel can also get it from the chat. Just give this to your cohorts. But it leads to another question. Do all our participants have a LinkedIn page? Do you have a LinkedIn page? How solid is your LinkedIn page? Because it's not enough to have quantity. There is need for quality as well, right? So I would ask that, maybe some of you can send me a LinkedIn request, and I can also hopefully, maybe Hamoye can also help with this, help with their LinkedIn pages. We want to give a profile to NASA, for example. That's how, for the person that asked, how can I contribute to PylonTab? This is how you can also contribute from now. We want to give a profile to NASA that shows that brilliant minds are from Africa, are from Nigeria, and brilliant minds does not have to be the person that can solve the most complex problems. It's just someone who is actually willing and available to solve those problems, but you need to be able to put yourself out there. So I will share the code that I use now that gives the step-by-steps. I will share with the slide. I'll put in the slide. I think I'll make it available to Daniel. Daniel can share it with the cohorts. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
But please, if you're on LinkedIn, go ahead and like and comment on the introduction to this project as well that I made on my page as well. Please just do that. But yes, I will make available the code, everything I did, and I can take you through each step because let me share again. I know I just simplified it, but there are some things I've done in the background that you might not see. Let me go back to it. So here, for example, if you start this code, if I give you this code now, you will run into error from the first section. Why? Because you need to, if you don't already have Raster installed on your machine, it will not work. So here you need to install Raster, and it's easy to install Raster. I can show you that very briefly. All you need to do, like the person asking for TIFF, you can say, I just Googled TIFF. It's simple. I saw, oh, what is TIFF? Oh, it's a format. Fine. So just say Raster on Google. Just say install Raster Python. Most of our problems are solved in Google. Look at the documentation. The documentation says, if you see here, pip install Raster. You can read a lot about Raster. The problem is not to know everything in the world. What do you want to do? How do I solve what I want to do very fast? Because time is of the essence. So what you do is you just put pip install Raster in your machine. I have a terminal running right now. As you can see, I've done this before I started this this presentation. So you might not, I didn't present that. I'm really sorry. I assumed that you guys know how to use Jupyter. I assumed a lot of things, and I was hoping you guys will ask questions, but you're not asking. All right, so you install Raster here just by putting pip install Raster on your machine, on the terminal, and that's all. You will have Raster installed, and then you can move on. And then if you encounter any problems when you're running the code, you can reach out to maybe Daniel or the Hamoye personnel, and they can let us know, depending on those guys that will be working with also in the future. Yeah, thank you.
I have one question now. It says, do you have any advice / tips for an edtech startup founder looking to apply data science in generating data-driven insights that could improve student performance, among other things?
Wow, what a beautiful question. Very well. I think this guy has written this question. It's a few minutes ago.
It took time.
Yeah. Don't mind me. I make jokes. I think life should be funny. All right. EdTech startup founder looking to apply data science in generating data-driven insights that could improve student performance. I think you need to first define the problem. Okay, what performance are you trying to improve? You need to have a definition of the problem set. You know, data science is simple. Data science is, okay, what is the problem? What is the solution? What are the steps to solve it? That's all, in my opinion. Everything is really simple. So you need to define the problem that you want to solve. You want to improve student performance. What kind of improvements do you want to do? Write them down. Then what are the papers or what are the science that have preferred solutions to solving or to improving student performance in the world, maybe in the US, maybe in Ivy League schools? What are they doing that's actually helping their students to improve? You need to also list them out. Now, how can I, how can I now map that solution to what is prevalent in the area that I want to apply it? For example, I don't know, I will assume maybe your edtech startup is focusing on Nigeria or Africa. Then you need data on students' performance results. Let's say you need a metric. Are you going to be using their WAEC results as a metric for evaluating their performance? Then you need to gather data, okay, from 2019 or from 2000 to 2023, this is the performance. So now compare that with a school in Harvard from 2000 to 2023, this is the shape of their performance. Maybe the one in Africa is kwashiorkor, or maybe the one in the US is, so then you need those two data. Then you need to now use your model. Okay, what were they doing every year at Harvard or at an Ivy League school? What were they doing every year? Put that in a form of algorithm. That's where data science comes in place. Put it in algorithm. You don't even need to be able to do all the coding yourself. Employ coders that will solve that part. Then you can create an app, you can sell it to the government. I think I just gave you a $1 billion idea. I think you need to contact me. I think you need to contact me back end. You need to pay for this. But anyways, that is just how I want you to start thinking. That's how you should start thinking. So you need to create these systems in place, these algorithms in place. This is the problem. This is the solution. These are the places I want to apply the solution. This is the whole package. Oh, you're welcome. I still need my, I need a share in your company. Yeah. All right. I wish you success.
Thank you.
I wish you success. I'm really passionate about EdTech. So I really am really passionate about that. Thanks for that question. Yeah. Next.
Thank you, ADG, for that. Okay, He said, please, how can I access the paper to read through your research?
Yeah, once again, I think I've shared it with them before today, Daniel.
Okay.
Shared it with,
Okay.
see if Messi say, I've shared the papers. I can share it again and they will share with you guys. Or Daniel, do you want me to share with them now? I can look for it.
I think they can get anything you share with us with the representatives on Slack. So I think they're all on Slack. So
All
they
right.
should be able to get it on there eventually.
I will share the slides with Daniel and the team at Hamoye. I will include the papers, I will include the code, I will include these informations. And then, yeah, I think that should solve it.
Thank you.
But I have
Thank
a
you very
question
much.
for you for the cohorts, really. And that's been
All right.
that's been the main thing God dropped in my heart to share with you guys. The idea is not to be able to solve every problem. The idea, first of all, is to know what you want for yourself. And that's why I was asking you guys. And I love the question about the EdTech guy. He wants to be, he's a startup founder, so he knows what he wants. I love questions like that. You need to know what you want. You can't possibly know everything. When someone asked me about TIFF, I had to Google it. That's the truth, because I don't need to know everything. But I wanted to solve a problem for NASA, and that is all that is in my mind. So what do you want to do for your career? Then you can now begin to look for solutions to those things. Many of you will not really need to do this PylonTab or this NASA. You will not need to be with me on this project or be with us on this project, but there are some other things that are interesting that you can do. Then we can still collaborate somehow or collaborate with some other people, but you need to know, please. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, IDG. Once again. I can't find any more questions, so I don't know if it is that they understand everything that you said or they are, I don't know, but like, thank you very much for that session. So we've officially come to the end of today's webinar. I want to thank Ayodeji Babalola for taking the time to educate us today. Every second has been totally worth it, actually. And I also want to thank you, our dear interns and visitors, for joining us today. I'm certain you've gained some valuable insights and knowledge. A big thank you as well to the Hamoye team and everyone who saw to the success of this webinar. Until next time, have a lovely weekend, everyone. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Hamoye. God bless you guys.